Okay, Grammar for IELTS students. We're going to do a little video going through some graph descriptions from the graph on page 22 from Grammar for IELTS, and here it is right here. You've hopefully already taken a look at it and already done your graph. So what are we going to be analyzing with these graph descriptions? Well, we're going to be looking at articles, hopefully, and tense, because those are a couple of things that we have gone over in our class. Of course, we'll also be looking at other things too, because there are always other things to look at, grammar and other issues. Excuse me. And we'll also be interested in accuracy. Is it faithful to what the graph has actually said, or is it adding or changing the information? And it's also very important that the general or overall trends are covered. Does it hit the main ideas? And then we might even look at organization. Are the ideas organized clearly? Now, let's take a look at this graph again quickly. It's a very simple graph, actually, and actually this third column doesn't make a lot of sense because it says all, but then particularly this present bar right here is too low, so I don't know why. The other ones seem like they're more accurate, but in any case, for whatever reason, this all one doesn't seem to be as accurate. But the men and women one, very simple. It tends to increase the whole time. Let's look at the general trends. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick. There's an overall increase for men and an overall increase for women. The overall increase for men is a little bit lower, it's 50%, and for women it was 55%. Although women increased more, they started off lower. You'll notice women started off at 10%. It's obvious from the graph that more men than women used the internet in each time period, and the largest jump was from 1995 to 2000. If you look here, 1995 to 2000 for men and for women, and overall, that is the biggest rise. And these other ones are smaller increments. Women also had a fairly significant rise right here from 2000 to 2005. So your graph description should hit these main ideas at least. If you mentioned other things, that's good. But these are the major trends. Alright, what we're going to do now is look at some student examples one by one, as much time as we have, and see what we can learn from this. Okay, so let's get started. The bar chart illustrate. Well, the first thing we need to look at is tense. I'm sorry, not tense, but subject-verb agreement. The bar chart illustrates. What I want you to do, my students, is to look through your graph description for this simple mistake. It's very simple to say illustrate instead of illustrates, or whatever subject and verb might not work together. The number of both male and female, once again we have a plural issue, males and females, who have used the internet in the UK. Notice have used here. This is good. She's using that present perfect. The dates cover the period from 1995 to the present time. As far as organization, I would put this in the first paragraph. It seems to be part of the introduction, and you don't need the word time there. As we can see from the graph, the whole trend is that more male have used the network than female. Once again, we have this issue of males and females. I think by whole trend she means major trend, so let's change that word to major. And by network, I'm assuming that she means the internet, so let's change that to internet. But the difference in amounts was not significant, about 5 to 10%, and percent is almost always singular, 5 to 10%. At the beginning, the percentage of women who employed the internet was approximately 10%, while the percentage of men was 20%. However, these indicators have caught up and have risen to 60%. Now, the word caught up here, trying to use our phrasal verb. The question is, caught up with what? you have to catch up with something, because two things are on unequal levels, and to catch up means to move up to an equal status. So I'm not sure what she means here by caught up. At the very least, they have risen, and that is correct. They have risen to 60%, not exactly 60%. It's actually, if we look at our graph quickly, they have risen to over 60%, close to 70%. Let's say over 60%. This is an issue of accuracy, when you have to be accurate with what the graph has actually showed you. The number of all users sharply grew from 15% to 45%, while in other periods it was gaining slightly. Let's say this: in other periods it gained less. It can clearly be seen that there has been a large increase in the number of users since 1995. And once again, has been, because we have the word since, right? This graph, let's take a look at our graph again quickly, starts in 1995 and it comes to the present. So the word since is a very useful word. Okay, so this graph description, we have corrected most of it, and we're going to move on to the next one. Let me pause the recording here, and then we will start up a new video to go on to example 2.